a lot of our compatriots in the league. I think one of it's from investment. I think two of it, I think it's just smart. You don't have a ton of time to put in a ton of concepts, but what we do philosophically is we spend a good amount of time running the football and we throw the ball down the field. So, I mean, you see that little go deep thing in quotations, and it's like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we won the league 3 years in a row, and every year we got our rings engraved. The quarterbacks always had go deep in it. So that just kind of tells you who and what we are. We like to push the ball down the field, and we'll go through anything and everything, 4 verts, 3 verts, and all the little nuances off of it. Just philosophically, you're horizontally stretching with a vertical threat. That's great coach speak for make them guard the entire length and width of the field. I've heard people talk about this and say, well, if you're David, be David. If you're Goliath, be Goliath. I think in any situation where you have athletic kids, if you can put them in the most amount of space, good things are going to happen for you. We like to create one-on-one matchups. You're going to hear me talk all the time. If we come out of a game and we say, okay, Trinity had 50 one-on-one matchups, we created 40 to 50 one-on-one either open field tackles or matchups, whether it's throwing the ball down the field vertically, things are going to work out for us. That's part of what we do. And then I think the vertical game is a great complement to help control 7 and 8 man boxes. Teams that want to load up on your run, I think it's a great complement to what we do. So again, philosophically, going back to it, we're running the ball half the time, if not 60% of the time. And then philosophically, if you wanted to see a clinic on quick game or the intermediate pass game, we're certainly not the operation to bring in, because we don't spend a ton of time on it. It's not really what we do. We never really have, at least in the recent history of the program, not really heavily invested in that. So going down the field, it fits well with what we do in terms of the run game for sure. So strengths and weaknesses, I think this is, I've seen a million people talk about there's no weaknesses to anything you do, but there's plenty of weaknesses to our philosophy. The teams that have beaten us in the past have always been able to exploit these in some form or fashion. And the strengths with your 4 vertical games, it's simple. I think if I was coaching a high school team, this is something I would do. If I was coaching a college team, it was something I'd do. If I was coaching a professional team, obviously it was something I'd be doing. I think the reads and the way we package it down is very simple. So it's easy to digest for your guys, for your quarterback, especially even if he has not played a lot of football or he's a 3-sport kid or whatever it may be. The vertical game creates explosive plays, especially at our level in the NESCAC. It's very hard for our players to march the length of the field. Even when we have good teams that win, someone's going to make a mistake, someone's going to forget a play, we're going to get a penalty. You need to be able to create explosive plays in order to score consistently. And obviously throwing the ball on the field gives you more of an opportunity for that. I think it's easy to practice with limited resources. I think that we do a lot of things, and every week we throw fades. Every single day we throw it for at least 10 to 15 minutes. You can practice it with your own receiving core. So we'll just have the receivers and the quarterbacks together. A lot of times the DBs are doing other things. They got special teams. In the NESCAC, it's a small roster. So there's demands on everybody to constantly be playing other positions or especially with the special teams piece, you just don't really have a ton of time for individual work. And I think you can practice it. Momentum's a big thing for us. We talk about it all the time offensively. The vertical pass game, if you're throwing lots of 3 and 4 verts, you can grab momentum in a good way. And then lastly, I think it's great packaged down. Like, it's simple to do. Sometimes the pass game can get a little hairy when you want to mix it up with play action and want to make sure that you're sound protection-wise. Sometimes, especially with the tailback, if he's a viable receiver in your offense, sometimes it's hard to package drop back with play action because you want a good ball fake, but you're going to kind of lose the back. And tempo as well. We've called it a ton off tempo over the past 5-6 years, and it's been a really easy way to package it. Where we've struggled is you get off schedule, especially if you throw on first down and you don't hit. You're now 2nd and 10. They dial something up. You're 3rd and 10, and you stall out. So the maturity piece from the quarterback is critical. We did not have a ton of maturity last year. We had a lot of talent. We made a lot of real sexy throws, but the maturity piece, especially on early downs and distances, if you guys ever know of a way to somehow develop that in a kid who's younger, I would love it. But that's one of the big flaws of being a heavily vertical based offense. The other one is that it's hard to get in the flow. If you're cold, it's hard to get in the flow. You know, when I think of teams like Middlebury who throw snag and throw levels and throw hitches, you know, if the quarterback isn't having the best of day, he can at least see the ball go in the basket a couple times and kind of get his rhythm back under his feet. You know, if you have that short and intermediate passing, I think you can kind of get back in the flow. One of the flaws in what we do is if the kid's cold, you're cold. So that's one of the flaws. You need to be able to run the football. The drop 8 stuff is murder to it, like it is to any other pass concept. And you got to be able to hold up, which is a luxury of ours for most of the time, but it is something you shouldn't have to be able to do. And then, like that last little point I just said, immature quarterback play leads to stalls. So the more and more you can avoid negative plays or 0 gains on first down, the better you'll be. When we really had it going and rolling, the quarterback was able to check it down and use his feet, and we felt comfortable calling vertical routes on first down or 2nd and 6, and we felt good about our management capability there, where if you have a kid who's a wild card, you're going to have some big plays, and you're also going to have tons and tons and tons of 3rd and longs and third and defensive advantages, which that's the challenge with it. Here's how we split it up in terms of our playbook. You can see it on the left. Again, you can have everything you want with Trinity. Is not super complicated. What we do with a lot of our pass game, and this is just more big picture, is we like to, hopefully you guys can see my cursor here, but we like to line up in a lot of unbalanced looks. And by unbalanced, I don't necessarily mean tackle over or anything where there's unique ineligibles or eligibles/ineligibles. We line up in a ton of 3-by-1 pass game. And what we've done in the past is we basically split the field in half. And we said, okay, this is verticals. These are some of our drive, dig, posts, you know, a lot of our concepts. The 3-by-1 stuff. And we say, okay, basically, we're going to align unbalanced. We're going to try to recruit the most talented player in the league and put him here. And we've been lucky in the past couple of years to have a player who's in that caliber. We had one back when Coach Von Bargen was at Trinity with A.J. Jones. If you can get a really talented kid here and you basically say, I'm going to line up unbalanced, how are you going to account for me? So this fits our vertical game. It fits a lot of what else we do. And basically, you ask the defensive coordinator, you ask the defense, are you going to play honest with my unbalanced look? Or are you going to play 2-over-1 to my star player? And if you can constantly create scenarios in which you're getting one-on-ones here, which is kind of going back to philosophically what we want to do, if you can create those one-on-ones over the course of a game, good things are going to work out for you. And if teams want to do a really good job of clouding your we call them one quick. So whether you're driving him down here, whether you're inverting him, whether you're bringing him down and he's playing high, whether you're both playing it low and he's playing inside outside, however you want to slice it. All the coverage answers over here where it's 2-by-1, we got to be able to find success out here with the one-on-one. So if you're getting weak side rotation, there's a very good chance to the field you're getting a one-on-one, whether it's either on a 2nd level defender or on a 3rd level defender. And that's really, from a simplistic perspective, why we love lining up in 3-by-1. Now you have to be able to have this guy. That's an easy thing to say when you do or you don't have that guy. But I think that we line up and we put our best receiver here, or certainly our most impactful player, to the short side of the field, and then we line up in a lot of 3-by-1s. For the progression in terms of the routes, one quick, we'll call him this. He has a 14 back to 12 comeback or a go if it's down coverage. The more confident we are in the kid, the more we allow that kid to take that route. Currently, this player is a 6'4", 215-pound player, so we always tell him, you know, when in doubt, if you feel like it's close, just keep going and we'll throw the ball up. If it's super soft coverage, bring it back on the comeback. So he's pushing a 14 back to 12. We want them to make the decision by 10 yards, but again, we're greedy with this kid. If it was a different player or a little bit of a different scenario, we would teach him differently. But we want this kid to be as greedy as possible. One strong out here to the field. He has a go comeback. This is a ball that we don't throw a ton of. If I was in high school, I get how that ball is even harder, especially with the hashes being wider. You don't have a lot of quarterbacks who can get the ball out there. Even we don't. You know, it's the one strong route game is minimal for us. It's never been great. We've hit it a couple times, but that's just me showing you a clip one time. We certainly could do a better job there. Too strong is going down the high school hash, so 2 yards outside the college hash. He's locked, can't move, so he's running full speed. 3 strong has to be the thinker of the bunch, so he's reading open middle, closed middle. If it's open middle, he wants to hug this hash as tight as possible and stay as thin as possible. We'll throw you flat based upon spacing, right? Obviously, if we got a ton of space, we'll throw you real flat. If we don't have a ton of space, we got to fit one. If the middle of the field closes, we teach it as cross face. So cross and face, 16 to 18 opposite hash. Get there as best you can. So whether it's a one high safety or whether it's maybe you use the phrase steal or trace or quarters trace safety who's lining up weak and getting involved on 3 strong from post snap, he's still that player is being taught to cross face to get to the opposite hash on the far side. The tailback, we've gone back and forth with this. This past year, I thought we coached it the best we ever have. I thought in the past, I don't think I did a good job with it, but we basically teach the tailback to read the free safety on all of our 3x1 verticals. We call the play 69. So in any of these reads here, the tailback is going to read the free safety. So if the free safety ends up to the field or he lines up pre-snap in the middle of the field, we want him to break weak. Basically, we're trying to match the tailback with the quarterback size. So if the quarterback and the tailback are both looking in the right spot, the tailback should be an available option for him if things don't go well down the field. The clips you're going to see from earlier, from 15, 16, 17, 18, that's not there. The tailback was always breaking to the field. So I thought that was a good little thing that we did that got us a couple cheapies. But again, as you can see this right here, this is the look, and we'll go through all the nuances of it as we look at it. I would say that it's certainly our most common call that we do. In terms of our progression as a quarterback, we're really, again, we're going back to that simple read mentality. And we try to keep it as simple as possible. Is the free safety playing on the weak side? Okay, if he's playing on the weak side, I'm reading it out 3, 2, 1, check down. So I literally teach it like you would if you were NASA, 3, 2, 1, blast off. That's really kind of the way that we talk. So do I have 3 strong down the pipe? Is 2 strong getting the one-on-one? 1 strong is always a viable option on the outside, as you see it. So again, if this free safety stays weak, 3, 2, 1, check down, just like you would, just like old NASA there. So if the free safety goes to the strong side, which we see way more often than not for the previous years of his career, at least before that X became such a viable option, whether it's he aligns strong pre-snap, whether he gets there post-snap, I'm reading 1 quick 3 strong on the cross back to check down. And you'll see the pictures here. So here's that same look where the free safety is getting involved to the field. He's tracing our 3 strong receiver coming down the pipe. Okay, so if he traces strong, we want to read this out 1, 2, down to my check down. So there's your free safety going strong, which is this picture right here, excuse me. Right, and then as you see it here is the picture where the free safety goes weak. So the more and more this kid hurts you over the course of the game, teams are just saying, listen, we're just gonna cloud the kid. We're gonna put 2 over 1. And as that happens, you got to be able to make hay down the middle of the field. So which is why, like, part of the run game, it's just such a crucial piece to throwing 4 verticals. You know, the teams that want to run the mic down the middle of the field, if you're running the ball with any level of efficiency and he has to take a step or 2, it's very hard for him to retrace on that open middle. A lot of teams have lined up and they've put their Sam, their nickel, their extra DB, and they've played a catch and carry on 2 strong and let strong safety kind of help out on 3 to allow the mic to be more of a box player. If that's the case, then you take the one-on-one with your 2 strong and your nickel, your outside linebacker here. So when we philosophically build what we do, we put our best player here and we put our second best player here. We've been very lucky and fortunate to have 2 superstars there the last 4 years, which we've not always had, and I know not everyone on this call has it, so I want to try to make it as flexible and understandable to everybody who's involved. But that's in essence, when we build it, that's how we build it. In terms of what we look for, we take the best player, we stick him here. We take the second best player, we stick him here. So there's your 2 sets there. We'll talk through all of our adjustments. So we swap it, we letter tag it and drive it. We do it out of empty. We do it with the drive component. We do it with every manner and adjustment that you could possibly hope with that. So we'll go through all that. I'll pop up some film because I know that's what everybody's about anyway. So let me share the screen with you here. All right, here you guys. Can you guys all see this? We good? Hopefully.
Yeah, it's good, Coach. We got you.
Let's see here. Oop. There we go. Sorry, was glitching up there. All right, so as you look at this, we're in a 3x1 look. This is from a couple years ago up in Brunswick. Good, easy, classic look. Here's our tight end. It's kind of hard to see. Sorry, the film looks like it's kind of like Tecmo Bowl, but that's what we got in the CAC. But again, it's free safety read for the quarterback. We're in 3x1. This is pure drop back, so 6-man protection. We can talk protection if you want to talk protection. I know if we have enough time, I'm not sure, but again, it's a free safety read. If the free safety gets involved to the field, I want to read my comeback. 3 strong should see that as a closed middle and get that over, and then my tailback, who will be out on a little option route right here. In terms of footwork for the QB, we like to throw a 3 and a hitch. So this kid, we've had better footwork in more recent years. This kid was a great decision maker, but not necessarily a technician with his feet. But again, you see the strong side trace right here, real simple, easy first rep, going backside weak. Good route here by the X. This was a kid who was a little bit more of an athlete than he was a deep threat. So we kind of taught him and wanted him to be more consistent in terms of just coming back. When in doubt, come back. That's a good job by the tight end. That's a hard thing to see. I mean, just in terms of the teaching piece, when you see the closed middle to try to get yourself involved here on the weak side. It's easy when the guy lines up there. It's a lot harder when this kid traces. This kid was a former quarterback. So he was a big quarterback who we basically got transitioned over to tight end. He was also at my wedding and had a nice little event there with Shannon's cousin. So here we are 3x1 against Wes. And again, this is another easier look as opposed to a too high look. You're already pre-cranked. We call this cover 10, I don't know, whatever you guys call it. 7-man box where the strong safety is the skiff player. The free safety is in the middle of the field. This is another easy look for the quarterback. So it's basically pre-traced. So as a quarterback, pre-snap, I should be thinking 1, 2 to my check down. And again, with this leverage in the situation, he's down tight. So right here, he should be taking it all the way. Good feet, good rhythm in terms of the quarterback here. He's taking a 3-step drop, taking his hitch, putting the ball up. And it's something we practice every single day. Like it's like it's almost one of those rare non-negotiables where we'll throw fades in the red zone, we'll throw fades against each other. When the defense plays us, we'll do one-on-one fades, we'll do receiver-on-receiver fades. So a lot of what we do is just tracking the ball down the field and getting comfortable catching these sorts of balls. Do we throw a lot of slants and digs and hitches and stuff like that in our routes on air and stuff like that? We don't. We throw a lot of this. So, and again, the advantage of it is you get chunk plays. The disadvantage, obviously, if it ain't going for you, it can get a little bit tight. There's right here. This was a great Instagram photo. If you guys are curious, that was on the Trinity Instagram that day. That photo. Here it is against the White Mules here down in Hartford. Again, free safety read. This kid, Don Vivian, he was a really good player for him. Down tight, another easy look. Vivian kind of backs up right here. The free safety just kind of skates. So if the quarterback saw this as either or, I'd be fine with him playing 3-2-1 to the check down out to the field. Or if he said, listen, I got so much space over here one-on-one, I'm going to play the one-on-one. But again, the corner down to the boundary, he gets depth. There's your classic Tom Dexter quarters trace. And we're going backside with it. Pick up the first down. Good throw and catch. In terms of protection, all of our drop back any of our 60s or 70s game, you'll see it all here. It's all half slide, so you line guys who are watching it. So our strength of our formation is right, and this even front, the quarterback controls all the protections. So if the quarterback wants to change something or he doesn't like it, he can manage it. The slide here is going strong, so it's an even front. When someone's over our guard, we're calling this a four-man even front. Tackle solid, he's sliding, he's sliding, he's sliding, he's sliding. Tailback owns the will to scan. So if the will comes, the back's involved. If the scan happens, it takes two. So America's Blitz, Bark, or whatever you call it, two to the field. The back will pick up the most dangerous. The tackle's always being taught to slide to the widest guy. So if both of these guys did come, the tackle would slide to the widest. The guard would play to the stick end. Center would play to the three technique coming in. But again, good feet, good rip, good ball. Trinity staff there needs to start hitting the middle there a little bit. Here it is with an uptight. So we'll do it out of 10 personnel. We'll do it out of 11. We'll do it out of 12. We'll do it out of all the different personnel groups. I like it out of the nub tight. If this kid's even halfway of a decent receiver, I think it makes the coverage indicators pretty clear. This one's an obvious look, but when teams want to have the corner is the run force player here and the free safety is the half field player, you can pre-snap get a real indication that I'm going to come back out here and play to the field. When the team wants to rotate to the field and they want to get involved over here, they have to adjust both their force player as well as their front. So I think for the quarterback, it's a little bit of an easier visual key than some of the teams who, and these guys do it. Middlebury does a great job of being multiple, and they've defended us very well over the years. But in this instance right here, you know pre-snap because of these three player alignments, I know I'm going to play the weak side. So I'm either playing the tight end, he has his vertical slash out. Three strong has his vertical, either open middle or closed middle. He's locked, he's here. Excuse me, go come back. So the way we teach this guy a little bit different than if he was the wide receiver out here. So we teach him to run a 10-yard out. So as opposed to sort of teaching that sort of vertical slash comeback, we teach him to run the 10-yard out. Basically, we came in with the thought process of if he is getting the ball, meaning coverage has rotated strong, give him the most amount of space to work with. If he is not getting the ball, it doesn't really matter. So we keep him on more of a thin track. So here it is again, four verts dropping back. The free safety is already pre-traced. So this is again this was what I would call an easy rep. The quarterback makes it a little bit harder on himself. He's staring way too long to the field. I think these guys are best friends, but there's an element of it that like he doesn't want to have to throw the ball back over here, but he does a good job keeping his feet, and he picks up an easy first down on 3rd and 10. And again, good route by Matt down here. He's the tight end. Again, former quarterback. He doesn't really lose a lot of space coming with width. He just kind of presses his technique and then just snaps it out. And if the quarterback was a little bit more keyed in here, this would be an easier throw. But good find, good catch. He got flagged for quite a bit of celebration calls in his day, but not on this one. Here it is against West again, just so you can see it. This will be the last one of the stock looks. This was from this past season. But again, you're still getting that strong side roll from the free safety. I know I have the one-on-one week, and I'm going to take it. And again, talking about flaws to the play, things that teams have done a good job to coach against us that have given us issues. The teams that do this, that roll the free safety to the field and get involved over the three, and then either drop 8 or do a great job of punching out that linebacker, those are the teams that they've given us issue because the quarterback has seen that strong side rotation. They know they want to play the one-on-one, but this kid's soft and this kid's hunting. So that's been a really good answer for them. That's kind of that's sort of the etymology of how we got to getting the tailback to follow. Basically, if teams wanted to strong side trace, we need to have someone to basically replace this guy when he disappears to go hunt for the comebacks. So that's been a good answer. Wesleyan did it to us. They didn't do it on this play, but they did it to us a a good amount, and it gunked us up, and it got us into some bad decisions and bad plays. So that's kind of how and why we got to that point. So we were basically, the back was releasing like this, and we were never getting our eyes to him when his eyes need to be basically in tune, I think, with where the QBs look. This is an easy rep. This is early in the game, but they do a nice job of adjusting over the course of the game, and we didn't do a great job of adjusting back. But again, in terms of protection, even front, solid. We're going to get a strong side slide here. These three guys will pick up the most dangerous of these four. Tailback owns the will. So if Cole Hamels gets involved here, number 2, you got him. If it's 2 to the field, then the tailback's going to be involved in the scan, and he's most likely going to slide to the widest guy. But again, good pocket presence by the QB, 3 in a hitch. This kid has really good feet. He's really calm, and he does a nice job here. He doesn't have as strong of arm as some of the other kids you'll see on the clips, but he's there. When we get down inside the red zone real quick, again, you're going to get another free safety to the field. I'll change it up here in a sec. But when we get inside the 20-yard line, all the comebacks are off. So you're just throwing fades. So everyone's locked on a fade, and we kind of give the quarterback a little bit of a green light here. This is kind of one of the few areas where I kind of loosen control and just say, if you feel like you have the good one-on-one, take it regardless of safety rotation. So even if this safety rotated, but I really felt good about this ball, or I really felt good about this ball based upon leverage and the Jimmies and the Joes, then I'd want him to take it. And again, Middlebury does a really good job here of scheming it up. They're in an even front split look with the Sam out, and you're going to get a trace here, but you're going to get a really hard hunt from the weak side linebacker. If we were running a comeback here, it would have been a little bit of a mess. This was that game, I guess, whatever it was, 2 years ago, when it was an absolute downpour. So the ball's like a watermelon, but put it up in the end zone and let him go get it. You know, some of the coaching points that, in terms of when we throw goal line fades, we've thrown them really well over the past couple of years. We work it like crazy. It's a daily thing. So we sacrifice we sacrifice other things to do this. We always say, whenever I'm throwing to a big kid, I want to leave it on his right hand if he's a right-handed player. So in this instance right here, I always want, regardless of leverage, if it's even money, I want to put that ball on the inside hand. So John is a right-handed person, so I want that ball to always finish on the right hand. So his strong hand is the backhand on it. So if John was somehow over here, I would want to leave that ball outside and away so that his right hand is the strong hand going up and getting it. And we practice that. So I don't think John Gerard's ever caught a slant in his life. You know, we always talk about that in recruiting. We sit around and we say, you know, he doesn't run a large complement of routes. And I always kind of sit in those meetings. I always shut my mouth, but I just say, listen, here's the deal. He runs basically these 3 routes, and he's going to be the all-time leading receiver in the history of the college. So, you know, this, and this is basically what he does. So the fact that he doesn't, you know, have a huge tree of routes, I think is okay in that instance. So there's your look right there. Here's us giving the ball to some other people. So this is great. And, you know, recruit this kid. That's great. But here's us throwing to other people. Here's us throwing to 3 strong. So the tight end down the thing. I don't love this decision by the quarterback. I wish he would have thrown this ball. For whatever reason, he would always get geeked on fades here. This is a different kid. He just hated the short side fade. That just wasn't his ball. He was naturally more like a javelin thrower. He was really good at balls where he could drill the ball out to the field. He really did not like the short touch balls. So that's kind of how we taught it. You know, with this kid, we taught our verticals a little bit differently, where we said, listen, if you want to overpower the skiff player, just overpower the skiff player with your arm. I would not teach that with the current kid we have. I would not teach that with a lot of the kids we have. The kid just had a really strong arm, but his touch was a little bit poor, so these balls kind of geeked him out a little bit. But here's us going the tight end. We get bailed out on a 15-yard penalty. Coach DeCenzo, I don't think loved that one, but I kind of have a tough call. But there's us going to 3 strong. Would love to hit that on the opposite hash, 16 to 18 yards. You'll see a couple clips here of us actually getting it. Here's a good clip of us against Amherst. This was, whatever it was, a year ago, 2 years ago. The free safety is kind of in that middling world. So again, that just, you can run this play in tempo, you can run it in drop back, you can run a play action, you just get your eyes on one kid. This kid gets involved. I think he's kind of backing up. If I was the quarterback here, I wish we would have played this. But he sees it as weak side rotation or weak side free safety, so he reads it out to the field. Too strong gets beaten up by the Sam. They do a good job of that. They always have. The Mike absolutely beats up the tight end. The tight end looks like he's exhausted. And one strong should be running. This guy right here should be running a comeback, but he's not. So the quarterback here is a vet. He gets himself out of it and just hits the check down. Again, the more we can do this, the more success we have. This is 1st and 10. The game's still tight. So good find by the QB. I wish I could find a way to teach quarterbacks to throw checkdowns more. I don't know how to do it. We've done it we used to do it where, actually this past year, there's 2 years in a row now, we've done it where every time we do a walkthrough, we always throw the check down. We don't throw a ball down the field just to get the quarterbacks in the Liam Cohen thing when he was out with the Rams. He said that all they do is he just goes through his progression, shows his feet, and then just throws the check down. I've yet to have success with it. Basically, the only success we've had with throwing the check down is just time. As the quarterback gets more mature, he gets more confident. He goes, okay, cool, I'm going to get myself out of this. As opposed to taking a sack or taking off, he just finds the tailback and gets it to him. But this is not. I can show you a million clips here where the quarterback doesn't take the check down, and makes a poor decision, or more often than not just takes off and runs or takes a sack. But that's a really good management piece there by the QB there.
Coach, real quick, what would you tell the Y there to avoid that jam? Would you rather him go over the top of that? That last look was a pretty good look at the Y getting held up.
Absolutely. So in a perfect world, I would like him to climb the mic to get to this level. We basically tell the quarterback that if he ever dips underneath, he's dead, because the window of opportunity for it is too bad. Basically we say, I kind of make the extreme statement that if he ever dips underneath, he's done. In a perfect world, he climbs him over the top and at worst just occupies this player. The challenge with either going back here on the fade or going back here in any of the routes, if this kid gets blown up, this kid now is a free hitter. So he can get involved wherever he wants. And if we don't get a good release here, this guy is no longer occupied down the field on one of his verticals, so he can now get himself involved. But yeah, I would tell him, when in doubt, always, always, always climb over the top and run this route like this, like you're trying to beat the mic down the middle of the field. If you want to beat the mic down the field, and if this guy shows up in the trace mentality, snap it, but you're basically racing him to a point, 10, 12 yards down the field. Good rep here by the Q. Gets us back in a chance to tie the game up. All right, we'll speed through this one here. That one's nothing super interesting here for you guys. Again, here's out of the nub type, going back to the field, just trying to find you some different balls that we have here. Free safety is already in the middle of the field. Strong safety is already down. There's the field adjuster, the Sam. They basically pre-rotated this look. So again, another easy rep for the quarterback. I should be playing 1, 2, 3. This is our first rep off play action. So we jump our back late. We're super predictable about what we do with the back. We always have been. We've always tried to fight it. And we've gone in circles and circles and circles. We've basically come to the conclusion that we would rather our tailback be confident and comfortable and us more predictable than us less predictable and our tailback being less confident and less comfortable in his footwork and his stance and his alignment. So we're I'm sure if you hit shot at us, we're pretty predictable, back near, back far, back deep, back even. I think we always have been. And I think we know that. We just kind of say, okay, we like us being confident. So we're faking inside zone here. So you'll see a couple different play actions off of it, but this is just, half slide weak. You got big on big to the field because it's an even front. The tailback, again, in this protection has the strong mic to the Sam. So if this guy were to get involved, the back would stop the fake, go over there and protect. But again, it's automatically locked as a weak side slide. All of our drop back, the quarterback can change based upon his whatever he wants. But the play action stuff is locked. So again, not the best ball fake, but we get a good amount of bite from the second level. Again, all part of it. The tight end doesn't get a great release, but we find 3 strong on the opposite hash. So that's a good rip right there. 18 yards, opposite hash. I wish we'd have put it a little bit more front shoulder, but I like that ball. If we missed a little bit more over that referee's head, I think maybe we had a chance to get a little bit of yak on it, but that's splitting hairs. Here it is against a bear front. So the look against the bear. Quarterback's savvy enough to just say, I don't need a ball fake here because I know the look. But again, you're getting strong side rotation. There's a strong safety coming down, free safety of the field, going back one-on-one. Good rip. We've seen a couple of those snaps though. Again, nub tight again. Here's the free safety. Here's the strong safety. It's already pre-cranked to the strong side. Is he an option? He's my primary. If not, he knows he sees this as closed middle. One high, closed middle. He's going to break opposite hash 18. Hard ball fake. This right here for us, ball fake wise, is going to look a lot like one back power. So you're going to see the popping guard. He's going to set the edge and the width and the depth of the pocket. He's going here. Everyone else is gapping down. So the tailback in this instance right here is scanning out to the field. So this is our basically our one back power protection. Tight end has the one-on-one, but the quarterback reads it back off the hash. All right, really good rip. 18 yards. That's about as teach tape good as you can get it. And in classic Trinity fashion, we will take a 15-yard penalty for personal foul for celebration. But good rep there. Not great by the guard there. Our right guard, he's popping over. He overextends himself here, and the guy kind of beats him under face. But good feet by the QB. And again, like we've thrown this ball a million times in practice. We don't throw a ton of other stuff, so it's not like this is new hat. We rep this quite a bit. Just this exact ball. And Coach Denver Williams stands right out here, and he stands like at 12 yards, and he holds his hands up in the air, and you just throw the ball through his hands. But good rep right there. We'll fly through this here because I know we're getting short on time. Here it is out of 12 personnel. Okay, so again, tight end has the one-on-one. He's 3 strong. You're going to get 2 strong out here. There it is off that one back power play action. Tufts does a really good job. That Mike does a really good job here. Like, here's a good example. I know you guys just asked that question, right? Where we don't win over the top, we kind of cut underneath, and the guy kind of grabs us. That's basically exactly kind of what you were talking about. This is tough though. Like, this is one of those ones where if I was watching it on Sunday and our tight end said this to us, I'd be like, I kind of get it. You know, like I don't really have great coaching for you here because I'd be just kind of double talking you if I said that you shouldn't go underneath there because it's just so inviting. You know, I get it. But I think we still could have put a ball back up here, but unable to get it. Down in the red zone, again, take any ball you want, whatever you feel is best. This is off of full flow play action. Again, packaging it up with tempo, like that's kind of one of the things I was talking about early on, right? The sticks aren't even set. All the quarterback has to do is just find the free safety. In this situation, in the red zone especially, you're just picking a ball. If you feel like you're getting some sort of man coverage, against man, we're just pick your best ball. So whoever you feel like has the best leverage, first and foremost, and then who is the human being in the jersey. So in general, I love them when we're picking fades against man to pick the guy who has the least amount of leverage, meaning he's closest to the receiver, so easiest to climb, I think is the best way to say it. The kids who are soft, you know, they struggle. A great call against the Vance is bringing pressure and playing soft coverage because a lot of our answers are putting the ball down the field. The teams who come out and play tight man coverage against us, you're just asking for it. And one strong here doesn't know the play because we're going fast. It's like, oh, got to get going. But again, he's picked his ball here. He's going to it. And a good throw and a good catch. Here it is, tempo again. It's going real fast. Sorry, the NESCAC filmer gets paid $8.95 an hour. And he's probably still hungover from the night before. But again, going real quick. This is off of play action, nub tight, 3x1. Here's the free safety. We're going real fast. You can see the QB quickly get his eyes to him. All right, I'm going back to the field. Free safety staying weak. Pick my best one-on-one. Little late on the throw, but we come down with it. Tough filming there, but you can see it. All right, so going into us getting the ball back out to the field. So here's some of the adjustments. So you've seen plenty of 4 verts at this point out of 3x1. So we'll swap it. So when we talk swap, he still has his regular job. He will take his job unless we tag him something else. And we'll show you the other tag here in a sec. Actually, right now. Swap, we're basically exchanging these 2 guys' jobs. So he's going to push, and he has the middle read. So 2 strong now has the middle read. 3 strong is going to allow him to clear, and is now going to take that high school hash. Okay. When we want to get the quarterback's eyes over here, when we basically want to lock him, we'll put this guy on a drive route. So we'll put him on a drive, taking him off that go comeback. It's kind of like that risk reward mentality of this is his best deal. So when you're kind of taking somebody out of doing their best deal, but we want to get the focus back over here to the field. The teams that do a lot of drop 8 and do a really good job of playing high-low with this kid with the strong side rotation. Williams is one of them. They've outcoached me certainly 2 years in a row, but they've done a really good job of finding ways to hunt John, our RX receiver, with the go comeback here. So we wanted to get him out of there and get our eyes over here to the field, and you'll see the exchange. Whenever we have him on the drive, you're just reading this out, basically 3, 2, 1, which is the same way you would read it if you're getting weak side rotation. So nothing really changes for the quarterback in terms of progression. He's still reading this guy. Do I have him down the pipe? Great. If it's open middle, if not, 2 strong, out to 1 strong. The tailback will take that 4th vertical over here to sort of hold coverage. But again, you see it out to the field. The good little call, running the swap is a good little call to the teams who want to have that nickel be either a heavy buzz player on your 1 strong player, or want to have him be a strong skiff player here on 2. See that field flat player goes to beat up him, and the strong safety still sees 2 as his guy, so he starts to clamp. 3 pops open, and we get an explosive play. Good rip. Here it is again. I like it better out of the tight end set. You just saw that out of the 3 extended. I think it's better with the tight end. It brings the coverage in, and this exchange is a little bit more natural, I think. So again, 2 strong. This is 69 swap. He's going to keep it on, right? So 69 swap. He has that. He's go comeback. Again, if this free safety, nothing changes for us in the read. If the free safety, as long as he's on a vertical, this free safety is our key guy. So if he hangs weak, I want to read this out to the field. If this guy gets involved strong, I still want to stay involved over here. Here it is again, strong side pressure. So they're bringing what we call bark, and they're playing 33 behind it. So 3 deep, 3 under. Again, that skiff player is in conflict there because he needs to be able to help catch and carry this ball to give this guy some help. But we're going to exchange it. We get a nice little dip there and an explosive play. If the quarterback would have thrown a better ball, I think we had more of a chance for a touchdown. But that's a little bit of a pipe dream with that kid. So that tight end. So good catch, good play, good 20, 30-yard game. Swap's a good call against the teams that want to have that field force player or their strong safety be a skiff player. That player is very concerned about the ball down the middle of the field, especially with that kid number 12. So if he gets antsy with that or he really clamps on that inside release, it's a nice little dip. Good protection up front, the odd front, not loaded, so this guy's not a threat, so we're going to send the slide strong. You're going to get a 4-man push here to the field. This is really good by the center guard and tackle out to the field, eating that up. Right, good feet by the QB, good find. They did a really good job against us of cooking up some pressure that basically, caused us a lot of issue. Here is the swap again. Again, still reading that free safety. This is 69 swap. This is against Wes. Again, you're getting weak side rotation from that safety. At this point, they're just basically saying you're not throwing him the ball. So we're going to read this out to the field, 3, 2, 1. Quarterback does a good job of clicking through here. Finds the field, come back. We can get a gain of 25. Good rep. Good ball. Against man, pick whatever ball you want. So here's this is the one snap in 3 seasons that the Williams College Eafs have run man against Trinity College. So they bring basically again that strong side bark, and they play man free over here to the field. They have this kid I think he's the best defensive player in the NESCAC. He's the best defensive player I've seen in the NESCAC in a long time. Number 48 there, TJ Rothman. But you see he has to carry too strong. We got the swap, but again, the read is still the same for the QB. If the free safety gets involved with the field and it's man, I can take my one-on-one and take it for 40. And like this game, for example, is a great example of when the verticals can really hurt you. You just saw a really nice play there. We had almost 500 yards of offense, but our quarterback went something like 12 for 40. It's something in that range. So you can have lots of stalls and you can get a lot of negative momentum in living in this world. We got short on time here. I'll slide along here just so you guys can see a little bit of that. But again, you can see why we recruited and we set it up like this. This is the one snap of the game in which Tufts rolled their safety strong. We went back weak and we hit them for 45. Here it is at empty, just a new little look here. So we'll run this probably 6 times a season. Here's our tailback. He's going to take the job of that wide receiver. We're going to drive one quick. These guys are exchanging their job. We like it against the quarters operations because you break the trace. Whenever you give them a 5 vertical threat, you keep this free safety back to the boundary a little bit longer. So when we line up in this, we're still running. This is what we call 569 to sort of key the quarterback in that it's empty. We tag him with an X to let him know he's coming underneath because he's the X receiver. Trinity College isn't as brilliant as some of the other cats in the league. But again, it's a good high-low here. So in a 2 high look, we want to high-low the mic. Here's the mic. We have the tight end down the chute. We have the X receiver on the drive. You're basically high-lowing them. Right, really good throw and catch. Right, Mike stays low. Too strong here doesn't do a great job of running his route with any level of seriousness, so the strong safety kind of folds in. But good rep. And right after that, we get a great selling. For in terms of the quarterback, and we actually use this insignia on our field as a little bit of a landmark. Whenever we say the ball's in the middle of the field, we want to throw the ball to the beak. I don't know, whatever you guys have in your field, we always kind of use the landmarks on the field to sort of help us out. And we always say when the ball's in the middle of the field is the beak. So we always try to, the bill of the hat, not the beak. So good rip. There it is at empty. Click through here so we can get to some of the 2x2. All right, here we go, 2x2. So I won't, in terms of timing, I got a whole bunch of other slides for them, but just to sort of walk you through, when we line up in 2x2 balance 4 verticals, we'll throw a ton of this too. We'll basically either tag this player or this player. We call it Quebec and Syracuse to give them the option to play the middle of the field. So the outside guys have their go comebacks like always, and then we tag either strong or quick to allow that player to do it. From a philosophical standpoint, teams that want to get the 7th guy in the box as their field adjuster, their Sam, their nickel, whatever you want to call him. If you want to get the 7th guy with him, we love any of that sort of route because the strong safety is massively stressed and he's a talented player for us. We also love the pocos. You like any and all of your quarters beaters calls out here to the field if they want to have this guy as the extra guy. If they're always going to play with a 4-man front, Tufts plays a lot of 4-man front, and they want to play in a lot of cover 6. You like too quick as an option. So you really kind of double-barreled here. We'll call it out of a couple different things. Here they are with a little zone pressure, 42 under. They're both interior guys. Quarterback does a good job of getting the protection change here to eat it up. And again, too quick here. We called this play Quebec, so he has the opportunity, if it's open middle, to bend. He's going to push 10 to 12 and snap it off. Over time, we just kind of let the kid play. We didn't really overcoach that. But again, still same feet, 3 and a hitch. This is a good job on 3rd and 9. If we'd have hit the front shoulder, maybe we had a chance for a bigger rip. But again, 2 by 2, there you go. You see it. But good job by protection up front. Really good job sorting that. Good ball, good catch. Here it is. Strength is to the right. This guy has the opportunity to bend. If he gets a really clean release, kind of like talking more into the pieces of it. If he gets a really clean release, I love this is an opportunity, high-low in that weak mic. If this guy gets beat up, I always tell the quarterback as he keys himself into it, if this guy's getting walled by either a drop player or the weak mic, you love this one-on-one because you know they're basically soliding themselves up on the inside and beating this ball up so he can't get in the middle. But in that world, you get the one-on-one here. But too quick here at number 6 there, he gets a good release. That's a good route by him. Quarterback's a little bit late, but we get it in there. He takes that extra hitch. You can kind of see there. He hits that 3rd, then he hitch. Good find, good catch. Good with the eyes too. You know, we always kind of tell him off the break, meaning off the snap, just kind of key that strong safety to open up that hole and then get my eyes back. A little bit late in that throw, but that's a good little ball. Here it is against the Cats a couple years ago. 1 high. He's going to keep this thin. He's got his go comeback. He's going to keep this thin. He's going to keep this thin, go comeback. Quarterback's just going to work the safety one way or the other. Work him to the field, throw to the boundary. Work him to the boundary, throw to the field. In this instance right here, ball's on the right hash, and the safety is almost hedging to the middle of the field. So we want to have a high key in on him. Good feet, awful ball. He kind of leaves him out to dry here. He kind of floats it. This should be a ripped ball, but he leaves it up high. Really good catch by that kid in that scenario. Here it is again. This guy has the opportunity to bend. Again, the quick player. He gets beat up by the outside linebacker. Good job by the QB working through and taking the one-on-one on the outside. Basically, when we have this guy is the keyed bender, I want to read him to my check down. If this guy is the keyed bender, him to my check down. And if it's man, pick your best opportunity and take it. So based upon leverage, you can throw 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't care who you throw, as long as you got a good rationale behind it. But good rip by the QB there. Here it is against 2-man. Again, this guy has the opportunity to bend. Good wrap, good catch. He's taking the one-on-one there. Good find, good ball. See if I can get you something more unique. Here it is against man. So against man, we want to take our best opportunity. In the perfect world, we take either one of these 2 players because it's the shorter side of the field. As you can see here, Hamilton's coming down. This guy's real tight. This guy's a little bit softer. This guy's a little bit softer. So I hope the quarterback here at least quickly is able to step up and diagnose. All right, I really like this player. Now we got lucky on this call in the way that we called basically kind of the perfect call where this guy was already the primary bend guy. So the quarterback's already kind of keyed in on him. Here's a good rep with the tailback not doing the right thing in protection. The tailback has the will to scan, and they do bring 6, but the kid just can't get there. But take the one-on-one. Good ball down the hash. Here it is against Wes. They at some point they just started lining up in a bear on every single play, so you knew the coverage behind it was either man or man free. Just if this guy was back here, it was man free. If this guy wasn't back here, it was man. So this is maybe a year or 2 ago down back there. But again, in this instance, I would either take him or I would take him based upon leverage. If this guy's hanging to the weak side, I'm going to go back to the strong side. Even though this play is called 79, where this guy has the opportunity to bend, he's your primary guy. Whenever you feel like it's man coverage, the progression's off, pick your best ball and chuck it. But again, good ball location here, good rep, really good catch by this kid. And good finish. Against Middlebury, all out. Again, 79. These two guys now both have soft coverage. They both have soft leverage. He has tight leverage. He has tight leverage. So pick one of these two players, take a ball. I think that Middlebury does one of the best jobs in the league in terms of coaching, but I always love how, because they throw the ball all the time, whenever they rush the quarterback, they never hit them, because I think they've been programmed by their program to not hit the QB. So they always just kind of like just let up. But again, good ball up top, good catch. That's not really coaching. That's just recruiting. But that's the mindset there. Let's see if we can find some unique. Actually, at this point, does anyone have any questions? I know I've kind of hit my time, but
Yeah, Coach, do you ever have your number 3 strong as an inline tight end, or is it always Y off? And what are the advantages, disadvantages you see of that?
So we always have them off the ball. We have not done a great job in recruiting in the past. We basically take kids who are fullbacks, who are wide. The other kid you saw was a tight end. So we keep them off the ball, so we have a little bit more multiplicity in terms of our run game. We'll slip him, we'll kick him, we'll bring him across the formation. We don't run a ton of gap down tight end stuff, where we're asking him to either block down on the 6-eye or reach a 7. So we keep him off the ball to sort of give us some more multiplicity in the run game and also in the waggle game. When he's off the ball, you line up in a 3-by-1, but you can quickly be in a 2-by-2. So I think you can give defenses a little bit more of a headache in terms of that. You don't have as much presence in the gap. We've tried to run one back power with him off the ball. I think you got to recruit a kid that's never going to show up at Trinity. And I think that, especially at our level, I think recruiting tight ends is really hard, especially like the inline kids. If you're big and you're fast and you can move, someone's going to take a chance on you. Whereas you can kind of find that 240-pound fullback who feels a little bit more comfortable without his hand on the ground. So most of the time, whenever his hand's on the ground, it's like that nub tight stuff that you see where he's either arcing on a corner or he's playing on a support player, and we don't ever ask him to line up and just knock down a DM. Anything else?
Anybody else has any questions for Coach? Go ahead and flip your cameras on and your mics and ask away.
I got a few for you, Coach. First question, how many attempts are you guys attempting per game?
Probably about 25. Definitely, I think only a couple times have we ever hit 30, and that's because we're losing. If Trinity ever throws the ball 30 times, something's not going right. Or something has changed. I'm no longer employed, one or the other.
Favorite routes, plays, formations, and goal line offense?
In goal line offense, well, we throw the fade a lot. If we don't throw that, we love throwing from the high red zone. So let's say 14 to 20. We like the slot fade. You guys, sometimes you maybe hear called a box fade. I could put up a 30-play clip of us running that. We run it a ton against man. That's our best high red zone ball. So
What do you do with the outside receiver, Coach, on that?
So we basically field smash. So as opposed to him running, so hopefully you guys can see the screen, but basically as opposed to here's the ball, here's your 3 receivers, as opposed to running your classic smash, we run it with pitch, so he's catching the ball over his inside shoulder. I think that's an easier ball for quarterbacks at our level to throw. I think it's an easier route to run. We don't run corners. We have not run them in 5 years. I'm sure someone can get up here and tell me that I'm crazy, but we run the slot fade and we throw it a ton. I think it's great against man free. I think it's good against man, especially a lot of that stuff you're going to get down there. I like it against goal line zone too. The teams that want to play that kind of flat 7, I think that's a tricky ball for the corner to quickly rally on and make a play on. And I think a lot of times if you leave it a little bit more inside, that's a tough lever. That's a hard play for the corner. We run mesh on the goal line. We're not very good at it. I don't think it's well coached, but it's kind of a bit thing for us. Other teams do it better. But we will run mesh when we get down there. We love wide delay. We've called it every year, at least 2 or 3 times. So lining up in like a 12-person formation and getting a half roll with the tight end sneak out the back. We've called that. We call it at least 3 or 4 times a year. We'd always try to call it against Wesleyan, just out of both personal and professional reasons. But we have that there too. So that's a call we have on the goal line. Trying to think other. In the high red zone, you're going to get a ton of that gator. We call it a gator box fade, slot fade, whatever you want. You're going to get a ton of it from both the strong side and the weak side. It's like if you were prepping for us in a game, you would prep for the fade and the box fade from the slot. That's how you would defend us in terms of goal line pass.
What's your landmark if you're throwing that from, let's say, the 20? What's your landmark for that inside receiver on the slot fade? Is it still like bottom of the numbers, or do you have to leave him more room?
Okay, so let's say hypothetically we're going into score right in this picture. Can you guys all see this? Ball's right here. Our field slot would be right here. Our boundary slot would be right here. We're telling this boundary slot, just like you would on a corner, he's running to that back pylon. So basically the trick in the route is you got to eat the coverage up and then extend away. And the kid who just takes 2 steps and then just kind of blows his load right there, it's easier for that DB to wheel and kind of just keep him out of the thing. You want to keep that threat of having that inside move up to his feet and then you extend away. I just think it's an easier ball for the quarterback because the quarterback can miss a lot more. Where I think sometimes when you run a corner, like that angle of that ball, like I think it's a little bit more challenging. And if that corner kind of dips off on that, like I think you have to have a more talented arm where basically if you're just saying, screw the corner, he's going to be held down by the hitch at least for a half second. Enough time for that kid to not be able to track that ball. And the kid, I think our players are just better at catching the ball when they're looking at it, as opposed to when they have to track it over their head. I just think that just from a talent perspective, it's just an easier ball to catch. Personal opinion, but
My language, Hath. I love that row, as you know.
Slot fade, I know. We ran it a few times this year. I like it.
Yeah, we besides the fade, that's our without a doubt our most common ball, and it's our number 1 check. So like if you ever give us, if it becomes a man fest, like that's the immediate check is the slot fade. That's like every one play can be checked to it. Every pass play can be checked to it.
Hey, Geoff.
Yeah.
Jeff, for the slot fade with number 2, and you see like in verse 1 high man. What are your thoughts on like the leverage of that nickel? Where's getting the most trouble? Inside or outside? What do you like to see there?
I think like the heavy outside leverage, basically with hips towards the quarterback, I think is the most challenging one.
Right.
Because you want to naturally beat him to his outside foot.
Yeah.
But if he's staring at you and he's almost like a cover 2 corner, but at depth, not like at 1 yard, like at I'm saying like 5 to 6. I think that's an awkward ball because I think the everything in the receiver's mind says I'm going to beat him inside with speed.
Yeah.
But I think that's still advantage DB in the way that I think that he can open his hips and run with that ball and at least play over the top on it.
Right.
I think the DB's in the biggest issue. Like if you're looking at this picture right here with his alignment with his feet, the moment I get that leverage, you're in trouble.
You guys, yeah.
It's just so hard for that kid to track that ball because he's running and he doesn't know the angle of the way that ball's coming out. Like in this kid particular, but if he's here and he has eyes on the QB and he's basically inviting that inside move, even if that guy tries to get back outside, at least you have eyes on the QB and you can kind of see through the receiver.
Yeah.
I think. I think that's and I think if you're playing a team that runs a ton of slot fades, I think the other just simple, honest answer is just playing the kid off a little bit.
Right.
Like that awkward moment where the receiver hasn't climbed the kid and he starts to geek out and the quarterback starts to geek out because he's like, fuck, is he ever going to get there?
Yeah.
I think sometimes that certainly gives us issues. The teams that come down and play tight, that's simply just a human issue. That's an HR issue there. I think that's an easier ball,
Yeah.
But I think that's those are the things that give us issues when teams play man and they play that kind of outside cock leverage and invite that route and invite some of those stuff to the inside where the safety can kind of rob it, or at least tackle it for the fine play.
Yeah.
Anything else, boys?
I got one more for you.
Sure.
It seems every year, Coach, a lot of small school guys are starting to play at the next level. I watched the draft over the weekend. You see the Patriots taking a D2 player out of Lenore Rhine, an offensive lineman from St. John's, Minnesota, D3, went to the Jags. I believe another D2 guy was drafted on the third day to the Vikings. You were talking about your ex-player being a really special player who's going to break all the records there. Does he have an opportunity to play professionally?
He will. I don't think it's a good opportunity, but I think he will get some people to kick the tires on him. We had 2 tackles in the past couple of years who had scouts in on him. This kid he was a basketball player who there's always a reason why he ends up in the NESCAC, but he was a basketball player that just no one recruited him. So it was luck. There's no skill involved. It was just dumb luck. Some of the linemen, I think you can find kids at the Division III level who just were passed on or they grew later in their lives. Like we don't have anyone currently. This receiver up top, I think he's the only one who kind of is going to get looks, but he's not going to. I don't think he runs fast. I don't think he runs well enough.
I was going to ask you what his height, weight, and speed is.
He's very big. He's all of 6'4", 6'5". He's probably 215 pounds. He's maybe 220. When you see him walk out there, you're like, what is this kid doing here? And he's not slow.
He's got a roster full. Don't feel. You can all three.
So used to seeing that. Not we.
Oh my God! Every year you get 2 guys like, "Don't tell me no, don't go there."
I'll give Rat credit. At least he's being honest.
Oh my God! Jesus Christ!
Yeah, so we don't have anyone. I don't think there's anyone in the NESCAC currently, but it's definitely more possible than I think it's ever been. I think that it comes down to more luck, I think, than anything else. It's not like we recruited the kid or developed him. I think it's more just the kid ended up here by mistake. Someone on Kurt's staff missed. You know, that's you want to blame somebody. Blame those guys.
Good job, Rat. That's awesome, man.
Awesome,
All right,
Coach.
boys.
Appreciate your time, man.
Awesome. And
Thanks,
whenever I'm up in Maine, I'll try to come by and say what's up.
The deck is open. You know that, right?
Oh, I know. That doesn't close for anything. It's going to take World War III to close that.
Great job, Rat. Good to
All right,
see you.
guys. Thanks a lot.
See you guys.
See ya.